வணக்கம்.
Hey, we are back.
This is our second episode with 2. There's other 2 people retaining, and we have a very special episode. We have a special guest today, Ian Jeevan.
Welcome to the show, bro. Thank you.
நீங்க இவரை டிக்டாக்ல பார்த்திருப்பீங்க, ஐஜில பார்த்திருப்பீங்க. He's very well renowned for his Vaishnavi series. அது நிறைய பேர் சொல்லிருப்பாங்க. So bro, let's just get straight into it.
Yeah.
What inspired you to do the Vaishnavi series?
So actually that was an accident.
Oh,
okay. I didn't even plan to start the series. So the first episode was a standalone. It was just a girl complaining to the Asre, you know. Asre in the 4 பேர் என்ன bully பண்றாங்க. You know, it's like a very common scenario in like Tamil class.
Yes. Yeah.
So then people in the comments, they were like, okay, do part 2 of the Asre scolding the boys, which is natural, right?
Yeah.
So then I was like, okay, I think we can possibly start a series. Then when I did part 2, then they're like, okay, have part 3 of now the boys go and scold her.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, wow. Then I did part 3. Then eventually someone in the comments say, hey, have a love triangle. Wow. Then I was like, okay, wow, this is gonna be a, like,
With the teacher.
இல்ல
That is prison story.
நேர்களே இந்த மாதிரி ஹோஸ்ட் வந்து நான் வந்து சப்போர்ட் பண்ண மாட்டேன்.
Yeah, so then because like always, you know, the boy who bullies the girl is because he secretly could have a crush on her, you know. So that's the story that I built, and then from there things just went on its own lah.
Right. Yeah. I saw you started with the Julie biscuit, right?
Yes.
So actually, you got the ideas from like the fans, and you. It's
And Tamil movies also. So it's like the Sunday, typical lah. They need a drama. Then the amma inside finds out, hey, she's going out with this like rowdy paiyan. Then it's all the popular themes from Tamil cinema that just combined together.
make it into a series.
Yeah.
Actually, that's very innovative. And content creation nu paataka adu vandu is like it can get very dry up to a certain point, like the topic yosikkiradha adu. So you need like a constant feedback and all that. So it's actually good that you got your ideas came from not only from the cinema world, but it also came from fans. They actually sort of like their input is like great help in
and that
sense.
makes them even more invested.
Yeah.
Correct.
Because now I'm taking their feedback and then I'm crafting the story as I go along. So I never knew how I was going to end Vaishnavi series because it was constantly evolving, you know. புதுசு பொண்ணு வருது. I have to buy a new wig, you know, to fit the character.
Yeah, got the blonde one.
Yeah.
இதை கேட்கும்போது எனக்கு என்னமோ அந்த மெட்டியொலி கோலங்கள் ஸ்டைல்ல
never
end, it will go on and on and on.
And you know, அந்த கதை போயிட்டு இருக்கு. Like I haven't had time to even like film the next few episodes, and people have been asking
when is the next one?
like, hey, Vaishnavi series when are you going to release it, you know? Because Ipa is like now it's at season 3 and season 3 episode 5. So I it's stuck there for a whole year now. Yeah, and I mean I've been just doing other things and not time illa la.
Right. So in the மாதிரி like இந்த character உருவாக்கும் போது, okay, let's just peel back the layer a bit. Sure. Why the name Vaishnavi?
Okay. So actually unmela sonna like I just plucked that name from the sky. Like it's not cause of like I had a girlfriend named Vaishnavi. Asked me, hey, your ex-girlfriend Vaishnavi, yaar in the Vaishnavi sollirupen. I was like, no, really. Then they thought I took it from the movie Genes because
that's my first initial reaction. Like the Vaishnavi, the alter ego, right?
Yes. Yeah, but also I didn't. Yeah.
Right.
But it's really just like a name that I plucked from the sky. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a catchy name actually.
It is. And like, you know, I want to apologize to all the Vaishnavis out there because ever since this series got like popular, all them texting me say, why lah, you must use my name. People will tag them in the videos and stuff like that. So, but sorry.
Lady, you're giving them fame. Any press is good press.
Yeah.
So when you're posting this series and all that, right? Like and like in the மாதிரி content உருவாக்கும்போது in general, like as content creators, like when you're posting things like you never know what sort of traction is going to get. So இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு கதையை போட்டுட்டு and then people are like reacting to it இந்த மாதிரி content கொடுங்கன்னு சொல்லும்போது comments like and then you're getting to like factor the ideas and then generate content. How did it make you feel when you like started?
I think like when I began it was like I just had fun. But it got to a point where like there was pressure.
Yeah.
Because people had favorites. People had character favorites. I like Surya. I like Prakash. You know, these are the 2 characters, you know. And then I'm like, okay, how do I make them happy, you know, because like if they become too invested,
Yeah.
it can also cause them to like not like it.
Yeah.
They'll say, yeah, it's a flop lah, you know.
Yeah.
So I was so like I wanted to please the audience that it made that whole process towards the later part very challenging.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Challenging now, do you think it's like the script writing and the
Yes.
the storyboarding
Correct.
for everything?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like Unmela Sona, like season 1 was good, season 2 was the climax, season 3 was the dip.
Right.
So I mean, I knew that the audience viewership was dipping already at season 3. So I was like, okay, maybe they don't like it anymore. Maybe and the kada like it's like expired already. Like people lose interest, you know.
Right.
So that was the pressure. At first, I had a lot of fun.
Mm.
Then towards season 3, you know, it became a lot more pressure. People say, "Hey, when's the next episode? Next episode?" Then I felt pressure to put out, and I put out like I film all on one day, edit one day, and post that same night.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
We understand it
Yes.
is.
So
It
it
is.
takes like it took me 5 hours and sometimes I need to record all the clips with one character, then change outfit,
Yeah,
another
yeah.
character, and then cut.
Yeah.
No, it's very tiring.
I think this is the issue with content creators, because all of us we are dealing with audience with short attention
Attention
spans.
span.
Yeah.
And it's going to get challenging even more with the advent of like threads and TikTok and
Yeah.
அது வந்து ஒரு 1 minute video 2 minute videoவா இருக்கலாம். அது வந்து
It's
on
hours of
surface
work.
yeah on surface is just 1-2 minutes, right? But அதுக்கு பின்னாடி நடக்கிற அந்த background work, editing, voice overs,
You know, speaking of like, the content create பண்ணும்போது, right? We spend hour like 4-5 hours to put a like 30-second to 1 minute video.
Yeah.
Suddenly அந்த படம் பார்க்கும்போது I have to realize that how
amount of
many
work.
hours they go behind like this 2.5-3 hour movie. Then I was like, wow, I was like shocked. Like especially when you get into video editing and all that. So when you're doing this sort of like a character setting, you mentioned panninga, right? Sometimes you film one character all the shots and then the next character all the shots.
Yeah.
It's hard to do. You know, acting, there's a thing called acting and then reacting, right?
Yeah.
How do you like imagine that, okay, this person says this, then you need to react accordingly? What's the process like for you creatively?
I think because the script இருக்குல்ல,
Yeah.
so like if it's more of an emotive point, then I would like start off, okay, this one I need to show more on the kobam or show more on the sogam, you know. So I will preemptively know what emotion to put lah, and
Right.
I will record it in different styles.
Right.
Okay.
So that same line I would say it differently, so that later when I cut, right, I will எது பொருத்தமா இருக்குமோ, then I'll just like cut accordingly lah.
Right.
So see which one suits the energy level.
Yes.
lah. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
So you know when we create content, right? Because some of us, when we do something for our TikTok,
Yeah.
then we know that, okay, within our friends, they're gonna make fun of you.
Oh,
Have
yeah.
you ever had that situation where you're posting something and your friends start making fun or cracking jokes?
I think thankfully most of my friends are quite supportive.
Okay.
Of course, like when I knew when I was posting all this Tamil content, right, my non-Tamil friends won't really engage with it as much.
Right.
That's what I thought. But then in reality, they were like, hey, actually, Jeevan, I'm watching your Vaishnavi series also. The Chinese people also watching.
Yeah.
That's like, oh, okay, because I put English subtitles so they can
Ah.
follow.
Yeah.
So I mean, I know I cannot please everybody. So I just do it because I have fun and because of the people who like it.
Right.
You know, I think that's why I created it for them. Yeah, of course, I do have Tamil friends say, hey, konja cringe இருக்கு நான் பார்க்க மாட்டேன். Okay, fine, பார்க்காத, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's fine, but yeah, just different cup of tea lah.
நான்
Yeah.
மூஞ்சி அடைச்சாப்புல சொல்றாங்க.
Today is normal da. Oh yeah, you now need just join back, right? TikTok வா.
நிறைய இருக்கு
Okay, நிறைய comments வரலாம்.
ready.
ஐயோ he first one, right? ஏதாவது சொல்லுங்க, I want to talk back. Don't brand damage. So we started with the TikTok, right? So TikTok is I would say இப்பதான் கொஞ்சம் traction idea வருது Singapore like 2023 or end 2022 onwards. So COVID time it started spiking a bit, but now it's like even more. Like certain demographics were there first, but now like the 18 to 44 age is converging more into TikTok, right? So when you first started, you were one of the first few who did it. One of the first few who got a lot of traction from it. So like, what made you start on TikTok?
Okay, so like in 2020 when I started, right, I know like படிச்சிருந்தேன். So I was still studying in university lah.
Okay.
So it was my semester break. So I was not doing any internship. I was not working or whatever. So I was like, okay, இந்த நேரம் இருக்கு, ரொம்ப நேரம் இருக்கு. Like what do I do, you know? So at that point, a lot of my friends were already on TikTok. So they were sharing all these videos on Instagram. Funny TikTok videos, they will repost on Instagram, like stories lah. So it's like, okay, finally let me just go download the app. So I downloaded the app, and then at that point there was like the lockdown challenges with your siblings,
Dalgona coffee.
Dalgona coffee, Then like all these like home challenges that you do. So I was like, okay lah, just do it with my siblings lah. So they were also sporting enough to do it with me. So that's how I started.
Right.
And then I told myself, okay, over now I'll just post one TikTok. Just do one TikTok every day. Yeah, and then I didn't get any traction, only 100 views maybe. Then I'll repost it on Instagram. Then my friends on Instagram will comment, will like, hey, funny, whatever. Then eventually, that's how it started lah, to your question. Yeah.
Right.
So, you see, content creation is it's not a norm in like Indian households at least. Like, நான் வளரப்ப content creator, YouTuber நம்ம generationல இல்ல.
Yes.
In the generation, how did your parents react first? When you took a decision, say, I'm going to be a content creator.
Okay. So, Amma Appa, they're very supportive. Of course, they are very also cautious. So they don't want me to lose myself. They don't want me to get like too affected by the comments. I think that's always been their concern lah. So in that sense, I also told them that this is not my full time.
Okay.
So I said I'll still finish my studies. I'll still find a job, and I'll do this on the side. So I told them that's my view lah. So they were like, okay. So this is just summa da seiran. It's not it's like
Passion
project.
So okay.
So then that's what I did. My day job, I work as a financial advisor, and then I still do content creation. Yeah, but then I think when they started to see, hey, actually, he's getting traction. He's not only getting like all this followers, but it's also translating to brand opportunities. So I get to work with brands, Then I think one time CNA came down to our house to interview my parents. And they're like, okay, enna nadakudhu? Like, what's happening, Like, why is there cameras, So of course I prepared them lah. I say, Summa, just say lah. Just say what's your thoughts, They actually didn't know the extent of my following at that point.
Right.
Right.
Until their friends told them, hey, I follow your son. I follow your son on TikTok. Then I'm like, oh, okay. Funny thing was, I think my dad, he worked in this company and they had a branch in Malaysia as well.
All right.
So one time I featured my dad for Father's Day lah on TikTok.
Okay.
Then the comments were like, hey, I work with your father lah. I was like, wait, who is this? And then I told my father, hey, Dad, like someone commented saying they know you. And he was like, oh, wow, okay. So it's things like that. Yes, there's that traditional mindset like can you even earn a livelihood? Can you even earn a livelihood on this? But I think for them they are more modern. They're like, okay, idu neenga sandoshama irundingana, if they gives you dripti, then that's fine. Do it. Yeah.
Because I think that's important. Like நம்ம இப்போ content creators வந்துட்டு இருக்கோம், right?
Yeah.
You don't really see the benefits at the start yet, and parents might think like they'll just disapprove you. பண்ணிக்கிட்டு இருக்க, நல்ல வேலையில கவனி and all that. But to actually learn from your success and to actually learn from that, I think it's important. Like any content creators, aspiring content creators out there, like I think this is a good story to follow, your story to follow, and actually learn from this in that sense. I think that's great, to be honest.
Thanks, man.
Actually, just to touch on that one point you mentioned, சொன்னீங்க ஆரம்பத்துல வந்து 100+ views ஆரம்பிச்சிச்சு, and now it is what it is, right? So நிறைய பேருக்கு வந்து ஆரம்பிக்கும் போது இந்த மாதிரி டிக்டாக்ல ஆரம்பிக்கும் போது it's very easy to get demoralized because nowadays I think we mentioned in a previous episode about the instant gratification. Nowadays people post something and they think it's just like easy and you want the result so fast, but they won't know about the hard work and your journey. You see, you started on the sibling challenge and this and that, and slowly you built it up over time. So do you have like any advice or any tips you can give to people who might be facing these struggles?
Right. I think you must ask yourself, like, why are you doing this? Like, are you doing it because of the fame? I feel like if that's your main goal, right, it's very hard to sustain. You must always tell yourself, for me as a creator, how can I add value? And the KV, like, you must ask yourself, like, adding value can be in the form of humor,
right,
in the form of like education, in the form of like motivation. There are many ways to add value to people. If you add value to people, then people have reason to follow you. Yeah. So like, for me, my whole channel, I tell myself, I want people to come there. I want them to leave happy or
Right.
leave with something, a knowledge or something, leave feeling good. Yeah. So that's the value that I want to bring to my followers.
Right.
And in the beginning, right, you need to establish what is your value that you want to bring, you know?
Right.
Be it like the podcast, whatever content. Don't just suka put content out there and then without any clarity of like kind of where do you see this going, you know? Yeah. And then I would also say it's important to, yes, it's challenging, but finding your niche also is very challenging in the
Yeah.
beginning.
Yeah.
But try as many things, and then
Yeah.
eventually you'll find your niche. Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I want to add on something to what Bharat said, that parents வந்து content creation பண்ணும்போது கொஞ்சம் வந்து afraid-ஆ இருக்காங்க. அதுக்கு வந்து ஒரு reason I feel that as a parent, which my household which I grew up, my parents like very not say very backwards minded. They are more like, they feel that education comes first before any other thing. Even when I was in my CCA at that time, when I was doing very well in athletics,
Yeah.
my mom was very worried. Full time வந்து athleticsல தான் ஃபோக்கஸ் பண்ணுறான், படிப்பில் ஃபோக்கஸ் பண்ண மாட்டேங்கிறான், that kind of thing. Because அவங்களோட மைண்ட் செட் when they were growing up was படித்தா தான் வந்து ஒரு நல்ல பொசிஷனுக்கு வர முடியும். ஏன்னா அவங்க வந்து கஷ்டப்பட்டு முன்னுக்கு வந்து தான் வேலைக்கு போகிறாங்க. அதனால அவங்க மைண்ட் செட் வந்து என் பிள்ளை வந்து இப்படி படிச்சுட்டு ஒரு நல்ல பொசிஷன் வந்தால் when he start his career he will be in a better position. But like I said, when your parents see the fruitfulness from that, that's when they really like, oh okay, இந்த மாதிரியும் ஒரு வழி இருக்குது. அப்போ தான் they realize, you know. If not, it's very hard to get through your parents, because நீங்களா போய் சொன்னாலும் it's very difficult to let them understand this point of view, because that's one I faced during my athletic career.
Yeah.
Because like one thing I realized, I've had this conversation with like some of my friends, like actually my sibling and my sister and my cousins. So like my parents were born in the 50s, and the cousins' parents were all in the 60s sort of parents. So at the time there wasn't even a Singapore yet officially, right? So and it was post World War II. So in my opinion, society was just recovering and then stabilizing, and somewhat getting a foothold with regards to the new economy and new superpowers, etc. So at that time, especially in Singapore, it wasn't as developed and secure as it is now. So the country was just getting a foothold and all that. So economy unstable and all that. So for our parents, they grew up with it must be stable, must have a good job, tie down a proper job, tie down a government job. Especially so adala tie down, get like an iron rice bowl. I think that's the phrase that was commonly used.
Iron rice
So get the iron rice bowl, get it fixed, and then you can have a stability with your family. So they were growing up with that, where the country wasn't as stable as it was as it is now. So now if you're looking at like Maslow's hierarchy, right? Sorry, I'm getting a bit too scientific. So if you're talking about Maslow, so I think we are at this stage in our country, I think we're a little bit higher up near self-actualization really. So I think that's where we are now, and that's why we have these opportunities also in the country. Since our country is so technologically advanced, our internet is super fast, which I think we need to give a lot of credit for. It's not
அப்பயும் ஒருத்தன் சொல்லுவான், என்ன இன்னைக்கு கனெக்ஷனே கிடைக்க மாட்டேங்குது.
Oh yeah, we play games online. So we have these sort of things, this sort of like a foothold, this sort of a base. So now we have the opportunity to look into like things like athletics, things into like content creation and all that. Do the thing. So I think that's why like parents wise, as I grow up I can understand. When your kid is not like, no I want to do this, no I want to do that. So as you grow up you realize these sort of things lah. So actually I wanted to touch on one thing that you model சொன்னீங்க. I think you mentioned off air also, the convo might go here lah, so let's just go here. So you mentioned that when you're starting and then there's certain comments and all that you needed to deal with, right? So for us also we had that similar thing when actually the first few negative hate comments, right, we received, right, we evoked the emotional response. How do you deal with that initially, and how do you deal with it over time?
Okay. So I think initially like அது பார்க்கும்போது கண்டிப்பா like I'll feel like very sad, no? Like they would say, "Hey, தமிழ்ல பேசாத," or actually most of the haters actually come from the Tamil community.
Right.
Actually honestly, so like, "Hey, தமிழ்ல பேசாத," "Hey, don't fake lah, don't act lah," you know, அந்த மாதிரி அந்த comments வரும்.
Right.
Or then I think அது பார்க்கும்போது like கண்டிப்பா like I'll feel like sad, but I would disassociate myself, you know? Because I feel like you are not the words that people say, you know, you are what you say about yourself.
Right.
Yeah. So I think humans are like that. You can receive 100 comments, 100 positive comments. As long as you receive one negative, you just focus on that negative, you know. So I try to tell myself, okay, Jeevan, don't look at all the comments, because the moment you give weight to comments, right, it will affect you one way or another. So I won't even see the comment section. Now just like, okay, if I see it's going, I just swipe. Just go away.
right.
Because I think the moment I give it weight, the moment I look at it, it will affect me somehow.
So it's like post and forget it.
Yeah.
Wow,
Like
okay.
post and then I'll just like see the comments. Okay, what's the general reaction? If it's constructive criticism, I'll take it. But if it's flat out hate, then I'm like, okay, நான் பார்க்க மாட்டேன். I don't want to see it.
Right.
Or like just 1 year in, 1 year out.
Do you develop like as time goes on? Do you develop like a thick skin after seeing the number of hate comments?
I think it's still wow, thick skin. Actually, no, I got very thin skin. Very thin skin. But I just try not to let it affect me, you know. Yeah.
When you're getting traction on TikTok, so you mentioned about like dealing with comments and all that, focusing on positives, and I think that's a very, very important point. And it's very easy to block out the good stuff and just focus on the bad stuff when the good stuff is what matters.
Yeah.
You know, like one recent கொஞ்ச நாளைக்கு முன்னாடி ஒரு comment வந்துச்சு. Because like when we post our TikTok, right, usually the comments are about him.
Oh.
About him and his size.
Oh, yo.
I mean, like in a good way. Like,
Oh, okay.
good way,
people are talking about, you know, illegal weapons.
Illegal firearms.
நேயர்களே பாருங்க எவ்வளவு shy ஆயிட்டான்னு. அந்த மாதிரி யாருக்கு கேட்கல.
I am shy, you know.
Talking about his guns and all that. No, but you know, on a serious note, when
இது
we
எங்க போகுது?
இது எங்க போகுது நம்ம அப்புறம் கண்டுபிடிச்சிக்கலாம்.
இல்ல. Like my first reaction when I see like hate comments and all that, because we have got nasty comments, to be honest. We've got a lot of nasty
Hey,
comments.
you know, funny you said just now the Tamil.
இதுக்கு பேரு தான் தமிழ் பாட்காஸ்ட். I saw that comment.
So we speak in
So நம்ம வந்து like you know generally locals வந்து தமிழ்ல பேசினா we mix.
Yeah.
In Southeast Asia generally it is.
ஒரு சம்பவம் இருக்கும் like the Malay.
It's normal, right? So நம்ம வந்து தமிழ் பாட்காஸ்ட்னு பேர் brand வச்சிருக்கோம். அது வந்து is for branding purposes. And in order to be relevant, like even if you're wondering also, we mix, right? Indians like தமிழவங்க வந்து சிங்கப்பூர்ல பேசினா இஸ் a mix generally. Hey, I want to go to that coffee shop. Hey, நான் coffee shop போகணும், நான் lunch சாப்பிடணும், அந்த மாதிரி தான். Nobody say நான் மதிய உணவு சாப்பிட போறேன். Nobody say.
நான் உணவகத்தில் தேநீர் வாங்கி no, nobody says that.
உணவகத்தில் தேநீர் வாங்கியா?
வந்துச்சு அதை சொல்லு.
So இதுக்கு பேர் தான் தமிழ் பாட்காஸ்ட்லாம் தமிழ்ல பேசுங்க. Then we just explain to them like this is the brand, this is how people talk. And then sometimes like even personal experiences I've had traveling as a brown skin person overseas, I posted things like that, right? It's my experience, right? People saying that no, you're lying, you're dramatizing, you don't defame all Indians with this. They're like I mean, like, it's my experience. Just because it didn't happen to you doesn't mean it doesn't happen to everyone else. So like, these are the things that we need to deal with online also, for everyone, like content creators.
My first reaction is I laugh. Like I look at it, right? Because when you நீங்க சொன்ன மாதிரி, when you look at it, when you associate with that comment, right, it brings you down. You forget about the 100 positive comment that comes across. So first thing we look at it, we just laugh because it's funny. It's honestly funny. It's honestly funny.
So like when mentioning about the positive things, right? So that's what I wanted to bring about, because nowadays is like just easy to that one negative thing that people say might really bring you down. So it's just a note for you guys. Focus on the positive, make the world a good place.
Like if I can just add one thing, right? There's this principle called 80-20. So 80% of people will like you, 80% of people will like support you, and 20% of people, no matter what you do, they just won't like you. You can pander to them, you can do whatever, but they still just won't like you. So why focus on the 20%? Focus on the 80% of people, you know? So that's just been my philosophy, you know. Whatever I do, எனக்கு தெரியும் like சில பேருக்கு எனக்கு பிடிக்கவே சுத்தமே பிடிக்காது, like they don't like me, and that's okay, right? So I'll just focus on the other people who support, who, you know, they like my content, they like what I do, and that's for me what I'm doing.
Even those you say வந்து தமிழ் பேசாதீங்கன்னு சொல்றாங்க, I mean, to be honest, they are not focusing on the content, they are focusing on like what, that's a small thing. It doesn't make sense in all honesty.
I think that mindset has been there in Singapore or in the Tamil community for very long. And that has caused a lot of Tamil speaking people to not speak Tamil at all. Which is the saddest thing. Because that is your own Taimuri, that's your own mother tongue. Like, how can you let someone else tell you not to speak your own mother tongue?
Exactly.
That is something I just don't like.
Many times that's your only connection to the motherland.
Actually இந்த மாதிரி small things வந்து நான் எப்போ தெரியுமா ரியலைஸ் பண்ணேன், like நம்ம வந்து ஒரு சாப்பாடு கிடைக்க போகிறோம்னு வச்சுக்கோங்களேன், லைக் மற்ற இனமொழிகள் வந்து they will speak in their own language. Chinese people will order in Chinese, Malay people will order in Malay. நம்ம மட்டும் போனால் மட்டும் they will ask, oh 2 prata with fish curry.
இல்ல I'm very particular about that. I'm sorry, I'm very particular.
I'm not referring
when
to
I order my food.
when I order okay, sorry, I'm not.
When I order my food,
Bharat gets very emotional when it comes to food. But yeah, no, but this is the kind of things which I noticed. So when I was in secondary school, I used to do this, but after that, I like realized that it's a bad thing, you know. For me, I feel like I should order in my own language. So ever since that till now, I make it a point that if I see Indian people, I talk in Tamil and I make sure I order in Tamil because it's easier for them to understand also.
I mean, this is a case like Indian brings up Indian lah. I strongly don't believe in the statement Indian brings out in Indian. I think that is stupid. I think that's rubbish. We have cases of like Indians bringing up Indians and like helping speak Tamil and promote Tamil. We're helping each other in that sense.
Yeah, definitely.
There are many positive cases out there. It's just that people don't focus on that.
I mean,
they don't.
Yeah lah. I mean, like one thing I think like growing up as a 90s kid, I don't know about what it is in schools now. I have no idea because teacher lah. But வளரும்போது right, like little things like அந்த ஒரு Chinese group of people, they'll be happily like if they have like a Chinese song or something, they'll be playing it very loudly. Malay people, they'll play the Malay song very loudly. ஆனா தமிழ் வந்து we will very shy to play it out loud. It will be within our small group and we talk about it silently because scared that people will. I was always afraid that I was one of these people also. I was afraid that people will make fun.
Judgmental.
There's always this like hate bob thing that people will do. Then they joke about running behind the tree and all that stuff, you know. So there's always like a fear of some sort of criticism. I don't know இப்ப எப்படி இருக்குன்னு தெரியல. Hopefully it's better, but I would say that generally just be proud of your culture. And with regards to நீங்க சொன்னீங்க அந்த தமிழ் பேசுறத பத்தி, right? Like I feel like it's wrong, especially when if let's say ஒருத்தவங்க தமிழ் பேசும்போது and Tamil is let's say not elite, not fluent வெச்சுங்க, and the person is still trying, right? I think that's a very bold thing. How many people வந்து publicly பொதுவா even though they're not good at it, right? There's an idea that's celebrated if they want to post a content, right? I so spec, sorry. If let's say the people want to post content, they want to put their best front, show themselves with the best thing to be. Like a lot of people social media, like, they show the good things only. They don't really show like the bad things or the imperfections. So when somebody is trying this sort of things, it really matters. And I think people should encourage this sort of things so that people will be motivated to get better.
So நேயர்களே, இது part 1 of the episode தான். Part 2 வந்து அடுத்த வாரம் வருது. So stay tuned for that.